Scanlon from Newcastle College. We've got Laura on the tech side of things at the moment, and Rachel to my left here. Poor Nell's come on her own because Jamie's had to go into work, so we've only got Melanie from Lower Newton. So our project looked at English and maths in particular. We thought that, well, we feel that organisations are using ILT. We didn't want to, I don't want to disrespect anybody else's project, we didn't want to just do about technical skills of teachers. We wanted to do technical skills of teachers to try and solve a bit of a problem. And our problem area was English and maths learning. Now everybody should have some cards on the table. We're going to do a bit of a poll with these emojis. What we'd like you to do is just agree on your table which emoji fits the first question. How do you feel in your organisation about your English and maths situation, first of all?
I get happy.
Oh, you're happy. You're feeling happy. You're feeling happy about English and maths.
No, I
think I have to go in.
Just hold your card up. How do you feel about English and maths?
How do you feel about it?
Yeah, so that's the second one.
We have a couple to.
We've got the shock theory. Yes. Yes. How many blues have we got? You. A few of all sorts. What do there? No. Okay, well, the next question is how do you feel about, do your students love homework? Particularly English and maths homework, if possible. How do your students feel about the homework? Was yours a smiley one there, Kate? Was that a smiley, lovely one? Angry.
Some people loving it.
Some people loving it, some people not. Lovely, okay, lovely. Next. What about parents being involved in their child awards or progress? Specifically English and maths if possible, but how do you feel about the parents of your learners and how involved they are with their progress? Any more? This side? Oh, got a lobe over there though. Oh, excellent. And the last question. Parents having the personal skills to allow them to support their child's development on your course. Specifically with English and maths we were thinking, but we've got quite a few shocked faces, pretty faces. We were going to use a digital resource to do that, but we thought, well, no, let's just not use digital for the sake of it. We wanted to make it linked to digital because obviously our students really recognise these emojis, but we didn't want to use digital just for the sake of it, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to use digital technologies to enhance the learning assessment process. So, we're not going to just tell you about what we did. We want you to have a look yourselves at what we did. That's why we needed you to have a look on that Instagram site. So, I'm going to hand over to Laura.
So we've devised a treasure hunt that I'm going to come round and give you on your tables. And it's going to be competitive, so we want to see which table can find these things first. And we thought this would be a nice way to introduce you to the Instagram site. So if you've added it, I've seen lots of people have accepted your request. We've had about 16 new people join. So if you want to just add yourselves now if you haven't, so that at least one person on your table can see the site. And then we're going to give you this treasure hunt. You write the answers in the grid, and we're going to see which table can use the Instagram site to find these things the fastest. So we'll pass these out. And I'll this is
That's what's next for. They're not necessarily in order. Okay, thank you for that. I know we've had some Wi-Fi issues and that's technology for you. We do have a winner, front table, so kudos, I'm sorry. No chocolates, but kudos. We felt quite upset about our English and Maths engagement, our parental involvement in English and Maths learning. So we wanted to do something digitally to try and address that problem. So we did 2 different projects. We've got the Instagram GCSE English support site, and we've also got the work that Law Newton did with their parents and child and the Baby Bears Days. Baby
Bears Day Out.
Baby Bears Day Out. We found lots. So our next little bit is explain what we found. I'm going to sit down.
Sure.
Thank you.
So I was previously involved in an OTLA project in which we looked at family learning and what opportunities were available within the prison. And my colleague Jamie and I found that in Law Newton Prison there weren't really any opportunities for the residents to do family learning with their child. So they weren't involved in the child's education, and when the children were coming on visits, they would just sit and chat or do some like Disney quizzes. So there wasn't really any effective learning going on, I suppose, or any involvement from the parent in their child's education. So when we were approached about doing a digital project, once we stopped laughing, because technology in a prison just isn't really very good, we thought, how can we incorporate something digital in the work that we've already done on the family learning? So we thought we're going to have to take baby steps, I suppose. So we came up with the idea of having a session in which we would work with the parent and the child to write a story. They would come up with a story, they'd come up with the illustrations, and then we would create a digital book that the child could download at home, and then give the parent a paper copy, so while they're in prison, they've got something that they've both created together. And that's really just our first steps into promoting family learning, but also incorporating the digital side so that the child could do that at home. What we found, so Baby Bears Day Out, in which you've all seen on the Instagram post, was basically a trial that we did within the classroom to see whether the women in the prison would be interested in being part of that project. At first they were a bit like, some of them weren't allowed to see their kids, so we had some quite sensitive issues that we needed to get round. But they could really see the value for the people that were allowed to spend time with their children and be involved in their lives of doing the project. And once they started writing the story, so the English class wrote Baby Bears Day Out and did all the illustrations, they were really on board and they really want this project to go ahead. It has been quite challenging because we've had to rely on meetings with the governors and senior leadership, which has been quite challenging trying to pin people down. So we haven't actually run the project with parents and children yet, but we have finally been given the go-ahead. So that means that we've been allocated a special visit so that the parent and the child will be coming in solely to work on our project and to be able to do homework together. So we have made massive progress in going from no family learning opportunities to, I suppose, taking it where we want to take it. So it's a success for us, definitely.
We found with what this project started off as turned to something quite different. So at first it was about study supporters and getting the parents involved with using the Instagram site, but we did find quite a lot of barriers to that, so it became something about really getting the students on board with it and getting them to use it on a day-to-day basis and them to be really enthused about it, and then to bring the parents in that way rather than launching it for something straight away for parents and then after that students. So that kind of changed as we were going along. We realised that the students could be the one who were the drivers of this, and that as they started to use it and they started to find it useful for their revision and for their working lessons, then they were going to promote it to their parents. So we found there were lots of different things that impacted on how much they used it. And we found we had a lot of use around exam times. So the time of year we put up there. So if they were coming up to a functional skills exam or a GCSE exam, this is when we had loads and loads of traffic on the site, so they used it lots to revise. It was really, really helpful to put on those key concepts, so the things that you want your students to look at again and again. It was really helpful for differentiation as well, so those times in a lesson where you can't always check 100%, has every student got this concept? Does everyone know how to use PDAR as a way of analysing language? Those students could tell us on the Instagram site, so they could go home, or even in the lesson, once we've moved on, they can watch the video of me or Rachel explaining it again, as everybody else is getting on. So it's a nice way of them setting the pace themselves in the lesson if they need to return to an idea. So we did find we used it a lot in revision and up to exams. It goes a bit quiet in times when it's not that high intensity for them, or they don't feel that it is. So when it's quite a long time between a piece of coursework or an exam, we don't get as much traffic, we have to push it a bit more. Gender, we found was a real sort of interesting one. So girls tend to like using Instagram much more than boys. So with my hair and beauty group, all of them signed up and all of them comment regularly and they use it and they watch the videos. My construction boys need a lot more prodding to go on it. So at the moment, that's what we're trying to iron out, some of those things, like our automotive students, our construction students, how do we make it a bit more male friendly, because I think it's quite a girly site for them. So we're trying to iron that out at the moment and look at how we can get them more engaged, because the girls have really taken up on it. I mean, not just girls and boys, but widely, that's a trend. So it's good recapping, as I've said. It's great for reminders, so if we want to tell them when revision sessions are. It's nice for admin, so if we tell them, remember your class is in this room, or we've got some catch-up sessions here. So it's nice to just signpost those things to them, or if they've missed a lesson, they can comment on the site. And we've found it's really good for motivating students and for getting students who are generally, and Rachel's going to talk about this in a little bit, sort of special needs students. If they don't like talking out in lesson, they comment often on the site, and that's the way they'll communicate with us. So if they've got a problem or if they need to ask a question, we've found our quietest students are the ones that visit the site again and again and ask questions on there. It's a nice way for them to be able to keep a dialogue with us.
Yeah, the vast proportion of my students last year, probably up to about 80% of them, were SEN students, a lot with autism, Asperger's, etc. And they totally engaged with the site, to the point we put a post on recently asking last year's students what they liked about it moving forward, to get some sort of feedback about it. And there was a student who actually commented on my part of the site, who had never commented before, saying how much she'd used it and used it for revision. So even though she wasn't making a lot of comments throughout the year, she clearly had been. She said it really helped with revision, it helped if I missed something in the lessons, and I could direct message you as well. So when we did the project, Laura and I taught in totally different parts of the college. So we ran 2 parallel sites. The one that you joined today was Lifestyle, which was for the part of the college that Laura was based in at the time. Mine was called CADI, mine was Creative and Digital Technologies area of the college. They pretty much mirrored each other, didn't they, with what we put on. But it was good for the students, I think, where they had what they felt was like a safe place to sort of ask questions and catch up. And I know that central support services within our college were delighted with the facility for the SEN students. So it was a really worthwhile thing that we've done.
And we've now started, so we've got a teaching buddy who we've passed a site on to. So I've got a guy who's teaching some of the similar groups to me, and Rachel's got a lady who's teaching similar groups to her, and they're now taking their own Instagram site and they're running it with their groups to see how it works. I mean, the key thing about this is, because every time we run CPD about this or about things like this, everybody always says, but I haven't got the time. And we're really, really sympathetic of that, because people don't have the time, and we know ourselves as teachers, you don't want to do something that's going to add a lot to your already heaving workload. So the great thing about Instagram is, when you've done a resource, you just snap a picture of it and you press there, upload, and it's there. or if you want the students to make a video. So that's where we found a lot of engagement. Like my most watched video is what they've made themselves. So if something good's happening in your lesson, you can just quickly film it. You don't have to show their faces, so you can just put it on the desk and get them to explain their work. And it's a really quick way of getting something added to the site that they can then see forever, and they can look back at their own work. And we're finding that's getting parents engaged a bit more as well, because they want to see the videos that their child has made. So that's the way we're going to go with it a little bit more in the future.
Any questions? Go on, then.
Can I ask, I think I might know part of the answer to this question, but I thought it would be interesting for everybody to find out. But you said that you tried it twice, so what were the obstacles on the second trial then? I didn't quite...
So probably comparing the back end of last second.
Yeah, so because we started it in the run-up to the exam last year, so when did we start it? April. We got loads and loads of uptake because they were nervous about the GCSE exam, they were using it loads.
Yeah.
Then when we relaunched it again this September, it's been a bit slower, and we think that's why. So we think it's because at the moment they're not feeling sort of the same intensity that they do in those last few months when they obviously all panic because they think they've got an exam in a couple of months.
If you've got a site like Instagram, and I'm not an Instagrammer, so my first feeling when I go on the site is of being overwhelmed by lots of things going on. But I know that's not what matters. What matters is the learners I'm working with, that's their world, and therefore they're able to navigate that and they understand the conventions surrounding using that. How do you deal with that as teachers when that power balance has shifted entirely to put you in the position of being quite not perhaps knowing as much as your learners about how this...
Well, my hair and beauty students made a leaflet for me, so I got them to do some writing to advise, and they made a leaflet about how to use Instagram that we're then going to use with their parents. So because they are the experts, I know how to post a few things, but they know how to do everything. So I said, you teach me, this is your site, because they were the ones who had originally said, Laura, roll on Instagram, will you do it on Instagram? So they've made this leaflet that's a guide, so then they're in control of it.
And my digital technology students showed me how to upload and cut photographs and so on. So I was quite lucky. Thank you, Randy.
And that's flipped on its head when you're working with mums and grandmas and aunties in prison who have been cut off from the world of internet. So how did you then introduce the idea of there being a world that maybe they haven't been part of, but maybe their children? How did that go, Mel, when you talked to them?
It's something that they're scared of, and I think just talking about being open to all of the new sites that they can go on is scary for them, but they know that it's something that they're going to have to get to grips with for when they are in charge of their own children again, for their safety really. So they know that it's something that they've got to get to grips with, but it's still a bit of a it's further down the line for them.
I was really encouraged, and this might help you. I went to a meeting the other week with some of your colleagues at Novus who were talking about mocking up smartphones and mocking up sites so that from virtual campus your learners can actually experience not just the content, but actually how do you go back to the home button without in a safe place. So it's nice to think that lots of things might come together to help you with that.
We have, so I do have a Twitter wall in the establishment. So I've basically just printed off pieces of paper so that they can tweet about the lesson, so they can give feedback about the lesson, and then we just put it on as if it's a Twitter feed. So it's just getting them used to what a Twitter wall might look like.
Language?
Incorporating, knowing what a tweet is and how you have to use so many characters and things and Twitter handles. So in reducing it in a way that we can in a very limited resource establishment.
So for you, digital literacies was quite high profile, whereas for you, the digital literacies it was the teachers having to do it rather than the learners.
Peter?
Like I'm also an Instagram novice, I suppose, but I found this fascinating to the range of things that you do. As I've just gone on there and seen that you can upload video, are there any, I didn't know you could upload video, I was just thinking there were sort of pictures and things like that. Are there any limitations of video or particular advantages for doing it through Instagram rather than something else?
I mean, we just use it because loads of our students are on it, so it seemed to sell itself to us rather than us having to find it.
They quite like making their own videos as well.
Yeah, we talked about using Edmodo or something like that, didn't we? And then we thought, well, they're already there, so let's take it to them. But I mean, there are lots of platforms that you can do exactly the same thing on.
Because I was thinking, you know, is it half a dozen and then you sort of reached your limit or something? Or
no.
is it, can you keep on
So you
going?
can just go forever, you can do 100 and 100. The only thing is, if you post it on your wall, it can only be 60 seconds long.
Right.
So you can only do a short video.
I think the benefit of Instagram is that they'll already be on it, so they'll just be scrolling through and then that will just pop up. So they won't need to go onto a specific